What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 39 of Beyond the Finish Line, a running podcast that dives deep into the stories that transcend far beyond the distance. I'm your host, Joe Hardin. I'm a passionate trail runner myself. Whether you're an elite, a back of the pack grinder, or somewhere in between, this is your space to learn, grow, and get inspired. Today we have my friend Heidi Baker on. Heidi is an ultra runner, a running coach, a co-host of one of my favorite podcasts. Let's run that again. Sorry, that was tricky. And I actually had the honor of being on that podcast a while back. I can't remember what episode. But I love the show. They kind of dive deep into DNFs and DNF stories, but they actually go even farther than that. And I just really love that. But before I bring Heidi forward, real quick, friends of the pod, if you could do me a huge solid, like, share, rate, review the podcast, give me a 5-star review if you feel so inclined. Something else that I really like is now on Spotify, you can comment on the podcast episode, which I think is like super cool. I love this. It's a really cool way to like keep the conversation flowing after the podcast is over. I love hearing your feedback and insights and questions and comments on the show. I think that's really rad. So let's keep that going. And real quick before I bring Heidi forward, real quick announcement. Hustle in the Heartland 2026 signups are up on Run Sign Up. It'll be October 10th, 2026. I hopefully I got that date right. But let's make this event huge. It's for a great cause, great people, great community. So without further ado, let's bring Heidi forward for this chat.
Hey.
Hey, Heidi, how's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
Work. Cool.
Yay!
Yeah, so I'm really stoked to have you here. Yay! Right. So I'm excited to have you here. I was on you and Michelle's show back in November of last year.
I
So
guess
that's
a
kind
year
of
ago.
cool.
Wow.
And then we had you on What's in Your Earbuds. Yeah, I guess about a year ago. And then I know we had you on What's in Your Earbuds, so it was really cool to have you on this show and maybe get to know you a little bit better on this show. So yeah, thanks for coming. And I'm honored, obviously. But so with that being said, like I do with all my guests, I like to tell us who they are. And so my question to you, Heidi, is who is Baker?
Wow, that's an intense question. Dive right into it. I let's see here. Heidi Baker is an ultra runner, a running coach, podcast host, who just kind of found her way into this world just accidentally and stumbled upon it and has loved just everything about the community and the the storytelling and everything that goes along with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So being that said, like where'd your start in running begin? Like how did you, like, obviously we have a lot to unpack from there till now, but maybe take us back to like the beginning of your journey, like how that started for you.
Yeah, I started running when my oldest was born, so like 11 years ago, because I was big into going to the gym at the time, and then I had a baby and wasn't able to go to the gym as much. So I had a jogging stroller and was like, oh, I'll just push him and run. I had hated running before that, had no desire to, but just decided to give it a try to stay in shape. And we moved to Germany when he was about 6 months old. And um, there I found like a military spouse running community, and we'd all run around the parks and stuff with our babies in the strollers. And it just became like a fun community. And I started just kind of signing up for races, and it spiraled quickly from there. I did the 10K half and then quickly did the full and just started running all over Europe while we were living there.
Oh, cool. I love that it seems like almost across the board, the more I talk to ultra runners, like their origin to running is like, well, I used to hate running. Like,
Yeah.
and I think it's funny considering what we spend like weekends on the woods running around and eating snacks. I think that's always
Right.
hilarious how because I hate
Yeah, I would
I
have just
like, to me
about
running was like,
done anything.
yeah.
other than running. Just about anything other
Yeah.
than running.
Yeah, before this, it was like a punishment. Like, I always looked at it as like a punishment, like if you screwed up in gym class or football practice or something, that was like what you did as a punishment. So,
Yeah.
um, cool, first, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, looking back, I wish I would have been more into trail running when I lived over in Europe because the trails over there are so beautiful and fantastic. And I ran on some of them, but like I wasn't really immersed in like the trail running world yet. I was just into like I was signing up for road races mostly. So, yeah, it was mostly road running and I got about 10 marathons under my belt before I um like discovered like trail and ultra.
Oh, cool. That's something I still haven't done yet. I still have not done an official marathon yet. I think I'm gonna
Ah,
have to
you don't
try
need
that
to.
this year, but still haven't done it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know, it's like I did the same thing. It's like 5K, 10K. I did like a half. I skipped to like 50K. I was just like then I found trails, I'm like, mm, like
Yeah, it's
now
like,
it kind
eh.
of sounds terrifying to me to run. Yeah, but I don't know, maybe one day.
Yeah.
Um, so when did when did your love shift like from road running to like trails? Like maybe take us through like how did you even find out about this crazy ass sport to begin with?
Yeah, it was, so I had run 2 50Ks prior, but they were both road 50Ks, and so, it was the Marine Corps Marathon, the 50K there, and then a 50K in Texas that was on the road as well, and so I was like, "Oh, I'm an ultra marathoner now," and then I was like, "What's next?" And started looking into 50 milers. And I signed up for a 50 miler that was a trail race, but it was like flat, it was looped, it looked pretty manageable for my first 50, and then was unable to do that race because just some life stuff. So when I found out I couldn't do that race, I quickly signed up for the closest one I could find because I was already trained and ready to go. And that happened to be the Lookout Mountain 50 miler in like the Chattanooga area. And it's literally on a mountain. And I did not look at anything, like, I didn't look at elevation gain, I didn't look at anything, I just signed up for I was like 50 miles, and so I went and did this race and was just woefully unprepared. I mean, I think I was wearing road shoes, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. Um, and immediately just loved it, like, I just loved like, the minute we got on, like, single track and we're, like, all in a line, it was just like, this is so cool. Like, I can't believe I'm doing this. It's not what I expected, but this is amazing and fun. Um, and it was just like such a cool experience to have like people talking to me along the way and then getting to an aid station and having them like be like, here, let me take your hydration pack. What do you need? Let me fill it up for you. Like, here's some food, like chatting with me and stuff. It was just like a totally different vibe than, throwing a cup of water at you at the aid station and sending you on your way. And so it was just like a really just fulfilling experience, and I did end up DNFing that race because the time cutoffs, I just wasn't ready and couldn't make it, but, like, in my mind, that wasn't even a DNF to me because it's like I was just so satisfied after it, like, I felt so good, and I just loved it, and I was like, "I wanna do this more, like, I wanna do this."
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I remember my first trail run, and people were just like sharing, obviously, we're just like a big group of oversharers, but like some guy was like telling me his life story in the back of the pack
Yeah.
at my first trail run. I was just like, this is the coolest thing ever. Like, yeah, after coming from road running, where it's like people had their headphones in. No shade on road runners because there's road runners that listen to this too. But I was just like, it's just different. I guess I'll just
It's
say, and
it
I was
is
just like,
different. Road running's great too, but
yeah,
it's a different feel,
yeah.
for sure.
And I was like, yeah, this is where I belong. Like, there's a bunch of other weirdos like me that like to run through the forest and overshare their entire life story with each other
Yeah.
through the woods. That's cool. Yeah, same thing happened to me. My first 50K trail race, I didn't look at any of like the vertical gain or anything. I was like very underprepared and it like kicked my ass completely. But I've been
I'm so
full in ever
thankful I
since.
didn't though, because if I would've, I probably wouldn't have signed up for it. Like, I probably would have talked myself out of it, and so, like, I'm really thankful that I didn't look at that because it's like, it led me here pretty much.
Yeah, like I don't even think I knew like what a GPX file was or any of that
Right?
stuff. I was like, yeah, same. Um, so that's your first 50K. So
That
you
was my
start there
first
and
50 miler, my
50
first
miler.
50
Okay,
miler.
wow,
Yeah, but I didn't finish it. I finished, like, 50K of it probably, so we can call it 50.
cool.
Yeah.
So so your first 50 mile, you DNF that. Like, tell me what you like learned from that very first experience. So I finished or not, I mean, it had to have been, and obviously it was something powerful to you. And it meant like a lot to you because I mean now you're so just so deep in the sport. So what do you think like your takeaway was from that very first 50 miler?
Um, I think the biggest takeaway I took was, like, the, like, messaging of, like, be brave enough to suck at something new. Like, it was just, like, the first time that I'd done something completely out of my comfort zone and was terrible at it and was, like, okay with that. Like, it was just it was, just empowering, I guess, is what I'm going for here. Like, it was just very empowering to be like, I can sign up for these really hard things, and even if I don't finish it, I still get something out of it. Like, and I mean, that's just kind of been the way I've run a lot of races since then. Like, I kind of go in with, I mean, I have fear, so I can't say no fear, but, like, I go in just to these really, really hard, crazy efforts and most likely will fail, like, almost every time and still wanna try, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I totally get that. That's like my relationship with that. Like me and you have talked about our relationship with the 100 mile distance. I'm going to keep trying. I hopefully will eventually succeed, but it's like there's just no given that I'll ever be able to get it done. But
I
same thing.
have
It's like
this
I like,
I have this hope
yeah,
that 200s are for me.
yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I did with
If you
Vol
can't
State.
succeed at 100s, just go for 200s. That's what I'm going for.
that, that was my maybe very skewed mindset about signing up for Vol State. I was just like, I don't know. Like, yeah, somebody was just like, if you
It
keep
could be
DNFing
our
100
calling,
milers,
Joe. That
right?
could be it.
I hope so. I'm going to be a long way from home if I have to drop at this one. Yeah, I love that. It's like the meme that I keep seeing circulate around is like, you can't hurt me. I sign up for things that I like
Yeah,
basically will fail
exactly.
at. Oh, good. So
Yeah.
when do you think your love for trail running like developed? Like I don't know, was like a slow burn or was like immediately like when you first set foot on trail?
I mean, it was definitely an immediate feeling, but then that was at the end of 2019, and so, like, COVID happened, I had a baby, like, it was just, like, a couple years of kind of a lull where I wasn't really immersed, like, we moved, it was just a lot, and so, I didn't really get re-immersed back into it until, I guess, um 2022, I guess. Yeah, that's right. So, it was definitely like a little like I loved it and I couldn't wait to go back, but then life just happened. And so, while I still tried to run on trails when I could, like as far as racing on trails and like signing up for that 50 miler and stuff, it was on hold for a few years there. So I'd say that when I did so my next 50-mile attempt was Georgia Jewel in 2022. Um, and I did DNF that one as well. That was just a very hard race and I I mean, I was trained and ready for like 50-mile distance, but probably really just not the terrain and everything involved in that. And so, but I still, it was one like that DNF was harder for me to accept because I felt like ready and prepared but it was, still, like, just a reminder of how much I loved being out there. Um, So the next year I went back for that same race, and then I finished it, and I crossed that 50-mile finish line, and I'd say that really kinda set that, like, love and desire in there.
Heck yeah.
'Cause that's intoxicating. I love that finish line feel. But
Yeah, there's nothing like it.
yeah, especially because I was 2 minutes under the cutoff, like, for the whole race. So, like, I was like, "Yeah, that's good
Oh,
right there.
heck
That's
yeah.
good stuff."
That's that's cool. That's so cool. That's so cool. Yeah, that's my first 100K. I was like, I barely made it. I didn't even know I was like, I quit doing cutoff math like 20 miles ago. I was like, I don't
Right,
even know. I didn't realize I was DFL until I crossed the finish line. They came, like, showed me he's like, you did it. Here's your DFL prize. I had no clue, but still knowing that afterwards, like the finish line feel came to me. Then I'm like, oh wow, like
right,
that was a brutal ass 100K. But yeah, I just like gave up. I was like, I have no idea. Like none of the aid station people were saying anything to me, and maybe I wasn't listening at the time, but I was too tired. But yeah, so yeah, it's definitely a heady brew when you cross that finish line.
right.
So what made you like set sights on the 100-mile distance? Like, was it shortly after that, or did you like work your way up to signing
Oh, it
up
was when I
for the 100
crossed the
mile?
finish line of the 50
That
miler.
was it. Yep, I understand
Yep,
that.
that's when I set the sights on 100. Yeah, it was when I crossed that finish line, but I think it was right around that time, probably it was probably shortly before I did that 50, but I, discovered, Josh Rosenthal and, like, Borderlands, and just, like, fell in love with his messaging and just, like, immediately connected with him and his story and, like, this idea of, this 100-mile finish because he just attempted and, um, it was kinda that set it in my head, like, this is something to go after even if I can't do it the first, second, third time, like, just to go out and do it.
Yeah, and I've told Josh this myself. Like I bet I'm 1,000 of those views on that DFL or DNF before DFL. Like I
DFL
watched
before
it.
DNF, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I watched it obsessively training from a 100-miler.
Mhm.
Yeah, I couldn't get enough. Like that was like that caught me at like the perfect time too. Like I wasn't, yeah, obviously I did DNF my first 100-miler, but yeah, just like how he just keeps showing up. I was just like, that's what I want to strive to be. It's like even when it keeps kicking the shit out of me, I'm just gonna keep signing up, keep showing up. And so yeah, that message like really rung true with me.
Yeah. I mean, I owe a lot of just my love of, like, the sport and, like, the, fascination with it, I think from him and, like, the docs and the podcast and stuff. It was, a big part of, like, my journey into, like, ultra running, I think.
Yeah. It's so you cross the finish line, you decide you're gonna sign up for a 100-miler. Um, when did you start? I guess when did you start the podcast? Was it during this training cycle for the 100?
Mm, yeah, I guess it was during the training cycle for the 100 because so it was last year. I was running the Kettle Moraine 100K as like a training race or along the way to my 100, which was in October. And I DNF'd at Kettle at the 100K. And I was on a long road trip like a week later. And I was actually listening to Michelle interview Jeff and Jeremy from the Ultra Running Guys on their podcast at the time because they had both DNF'd Cruel Jewel. And so she came on as like a guest, like interviewer, and I like asked them questions about their DNFs. And I was listening to that as I was driving, and I thought, wow, like we need to talk about this more. Like I was fresh off a DNF myself. I was listening to them and resonating with so much of the stuff that they were saying. And I was like, this is like something that maybe should be done. Like maybe we should have a podcast that's about DNFs and like tell these stories specifically. And it was just an idea that popped in my head. I have never once in my life before that moment thought I wanted to host a podcast like ever. But this idea popped in my head. The name of the podcast popped in my head. It was just like this moment of like, and then I got on Amazon and like ordered a microphone. I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do this thing. And didn't know what I was doing, but I was like, I'm going to do this thing. And I posted something in my Instagram stories about just like, um, DNF stories. Like, if you have a story to tell, like, message me. I'm working on something. And Michelle, who I had connected with, like, in bits and pieces previously, like, we followed each other and connected here and there, um, said, like, oh, I'm interested to hear what you're working on. And I told her, and she like loved it. She's like, if you want like a sounding board or anybody to like help you out with this. And I said, well, how about you just be my co-host because I don't know what.
I love that.
So that's how Let's Run That Again was born. We got on a call, not knowing each other like at all, like a week later to like plan things out, and we started a podcast.
Wow, because you guys have such like a cool like a you guys have such a good chemistry too. So it seems like not knowing this, I thought maybe you two knew each other for like a really long time. So
Most
that's
people think that when they're like,
yeah.
"Oh, how long have you and Michelle known each other?" I'm like, when I posted about starting a podcast, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Come join me." Yeah, that's pretty much it. We didn't meet until December of last year, like in person. We had never met
Oh
in person
wow.
before. Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, I didn't know that. I'm just like I just assumed that you guys have been friends for like you two have been friends for a really long time. That's neat. I love that like I love what you did because it kind of likens itself to like what the sport kind of it's like what the sport kind of is. It's just like you just I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it, like, but let's figure it out. Like send it and see what happens. So I think that's just so cool
I
that
think
you did.
that's like I'm realizing that's a trend. Like all the best things in my life have just been moments where it's like I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just going to do this thing and then see how it turns out, and it usually has turned out pretty good. Like so.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's basically been my ethos the last year. I'm just like, I don't know. Like
Yeah.
I just talk
Just
like yeah,
order the microphone on Amazon and you're committed.
order the
I'm too
microphone.
lazy to return it. So I
Can't
got to
return.
host
Yeah.
the podcast now.
Yeah, the refund date expired, so I might as well host the
Exactly.
podcast. Yeah, I love that. That's cool. Yeah, that's amazing because yeah, you and Michelle have such a great chemistry. That's wild to me to know that.
It's been a really fun journey, and I mean, our friendship has, like, just blossomed through the podcast, and, I'm so thankful for her and, like, how it's all worked out for sure.
So December when you met Michelle in December, that was uh well, that was when you completed your first 100 miler, right?
That was January, so we met in
Okay,
December, we
okay.
were both doing, like, the Old Fort, like, 12-hour race. It was like a Helene fundraiser thing in North Carolina. We were both running that, so I met her the first time there, but yes, the second time I met her was at Dark Anchor in January where I finished my first
Oh,
100.
that is so cool. That's special.
Yeah, it was special.
Yes. Yeah. So I do want to talk about your first 100 miler some too, but I have some podcast questions. Like, so I'm always curious when I talk to other podcast hosts, you know, you get to talk to so many amazing people when you host your show. And like to me, I feel like I've taken like a little bit from you're number 39. So I've interviewed over 39 people now, and I feel like I take like a little like tidbit of something from every person I talk to, like a little piece of advice or like a lesson. And I compile those. So I think about somebody I've interviewed constantly, like at random, like something they've said or done that's kind of
Mhm.
helped me with my struggles or whatever I'm after. So what is something that you've learned maybe about yourself since you've been hosting Let's Run That Again?
Um, I mean, I think like you said, like each guest that you bring on kind of brings you a different like nugget of knowledge or like advice or, inspiration. And I've taken so many bits and pieces of those and like used them out on the trails myself. Like for example, this past weekend, I was running with my friend at a 34-hour race in South Carolina, and this was her first time doing any kind of distance like this, and um, I was just trying to help her through like a mentally like low place. And I remembered interviewing Hazel Harrison on my podcast and have her saying like, how lucky am I, to be experiencing like 2 sunrises during this race, or how lucky am I to be, watching these like leaves fall from the trees, like all these, you just find those like little moments. And I shared that with my friend Stephanie. I was like think about how lucky we are to like be here in this moment and like see all these things and get to watch the sunset twice, and we get to like look up at the stars without our headlamps at night for 2 nights in a row. And she was like almost in tears, like she's like, this is what I needed to hear right now. So it's like, I mean, granted, we were like 30 hours into running at that point, so we were a little emotional, but but it's like just taking those little things like that, the little reminders and little catchphrases and little like things of inspiration that I I kind of have them in like a toolkit and pull them out when I need it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I definitely draw I draw a lot of inspiration and like sayings and like quotes from people. Maybe not that I've just interviewed on the show, but like just ran into on the trail or like had the opportunity to talk to. Um, so it's like definitely something I like utilize heavily. And like my arsenal is like something that somebody said to me that will strike me at like some random time on the trail. But
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
cool. So that's really neat. So you have to share that with your friend. 36 hours. That's pretty wild. Um, I've never moved quite that far, so that had to be pretty interesting to experience.
Yeah. That's what my January race, the one where I finished my 100, was a 34-hour it was a timed format as well. So I tend to do better at timed formats than
Yeah, yeah. I'm thinking that might be the route I had to take for my first 100 miler, but I just keep trying, but for some reason the hard I keep signing up for hard trails, and it
Yeah.
seems to
I do
it
the
seems to
same thing.
always yeah it seems to keep knocking me out about 100K. So one of these days I'll get past that hump. But, so tell me about your first 100 miler, because like we were by the way, we were like all watching and cheering you on from it's like yeah,
Aw.
yeah, so that was just so neat. I didn't get to experience it in real life, but there was a lot of us that were definitely like looking for updates and Instagram stories. So, after like experience the DNFs and like you learn through all these like trials and tribulations of trail running. Tell me about the first time you crossed the finish line at your first 100 miler. Like you just had to be like elated. Yeah. So just run us through the emotions. And I guess I'm just really I want to live vicariously through your finish line. So on the 100 mile distance.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a fun race in general. It was like, a 3.5 mile loop. I knew a lot of people out there. And so it's like I like a looped course because being a back of the pack runner, if I'm running just like a point to point or a big loop, I am alone so much of the time, which is fine sometimes, but also it's like, can I just see another person, please?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, so I love a looped course because I love like seeing people over and over again. It was just a lot of fun to have kind of like friends there. I had Michelle there, and we weren't running together necessarily because she was kind of chasing her own goals, but just like seeing friendly faces throughout the whole race is always really, really nice. And then I think my biggest like takeaway from my 100-mile finish is I had like a preconceived notion in my head of what each like phase of the race was going to feel like. Just from hearing other people talk. They're like that the race starts after 100K. That's when you're going to feel terrible because you have like all this stuff. And I'm like, I was actually at that point and I felt great. Like I felt great at that time. I felt great through like almost to 80 miles. Like I had this like chunk of time that I just felt fantastic. And, like, then 80 on, I was absolutely miserable. Um, and hating everything, and, it was nice to like, see Michelle periodically and, like, have her kind of encourage me and everything. Um, and I told myself, like, when I hit 90, I'll feel better because it'll only be 10 miles to go. That did not happen. I did not feel better.
They lied to you.
It did not feel better. It felt even farther away. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I still have 10 miles to go." I remember hugging Michelle when I came in. I was like 93 miles in or something like that. And it doesn't seem, it's like, you don't have that far to go, Heidi. But I was just like weeping. Like, I just hugged her and I was like, I know I can finish this, but it feels impossible right now. Like, um, and so that in that situation, I think I still had like 2 more laps to go. Um, and so Michelle went out with me on my second to last lap, um, and just did that lap with me and made that her final lap. And that was good. It was nice to have somebody kinda keep me, like, out of my head during that. And then I went out on the last lap by myself. And the thing about, like, a race distance like this is by the end of, towards the end of the 34 hours, like 33 hours or whatever, like, the field has died down. There are not many people out there. It was drizzly and cold, and most people had packed up. There were only a few of us still out there, so it was just kinda lonely. But, I went out on that last lap on my own and, um, just, like, blasted music and just, like, sang and, like, tried to take my mind off of everything. Um and I remember, so it's like when you're running a looped course like that, you create little landmarks in your mind of like when you're gonna be done with the loop or how much there is to go. And so I had done so, and there was like this little like historic living area because it's in a state park. And so there's like some like old wooden buildings and stuff. And I knew that there was about 3/4 of a mile to go once I hit that. And so I hit that and I just started like bawling. Like I was just crying for that last like 3/4 of a mile. And I had like friends, like local friends, because I had lived in the area where the race was, come out and I hadn't seen them yet. They'd showed up while I was on that last loop. So I came in and they were there cheering for me and Michelle was there. Um, and yeah, I crossed the finish line and I just completely collapsed. I fell to the ground immediately. As I do. I did that at my 50 mile too. I just like crossed the finish line, just boom to the ground. Um, but gosh, that's yeah, it was pretty amazing. I kind of couldn't believe that it had actually happened. Sometimes I still kinda can't believe that it actually happened, but, it did. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Um,
that's really cool. Yeah, that's so cool.
yeah. But it was just awesome to have, like, so many people there, like, my local friends, like, they run, but this whole idea of, like, running 100 miles is completely foreign to them. So, like, just to have them, like, come out on a drizzly, rainy, cold day and, like, hang out for a while to just watch me run across the finish line was just really neat, and then to have Michelle there to hug me and, like, it was a really neat experience.
Yeah, that sounds that's really special. That's so cool. How did it feel? How did it feel to have that buckle like in your hands after that?
Amazing.
Yeah,
Every
okay.
once in a while, I still, like, hold it. I'm like,
Just get
"Oh,"
it out.
like like, "I did this thing." It hangs out up here. There it is.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's my little friend. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, 100 miles. I did that."
I That's so cool.
Haven't done it since, but it's alright.
Well, yeah, you decided to what, double down, right? Is that what you said earlier? That's pretty wild.
For 200? You
Yeah.
mean? Yeah, I signed up. So, I mean, I figured so Dark Anchor is a Yeti race and a looped course, and so Canebrake's a Yeti race and a looped course, so I was like, "Well, if I had success there, maybe I'll have success at the 200-mile distance in that
Hell
kinda
yeah.
setting." But I don't know, I have this and it might just be naive, but I have this idea in my head that I will be really good 200-mile distance.
Yeah. I laugh because I had the same logic.
Maybe I shouldn't have that idea, but just let me live in this fantasy that I'm really good at 200-mile distance. But here's my reasoning is that I am a back of the pack runner. I'm very slow. So like in a 100-mile setting, I don't have time to like troubleshoot. Like I don't have a whole lot of time to go, "Oh, let me nap for an hour and see how I feel afterwards." Um and in a 200-mile setting with all that time, like, I'll have more time to do that. Not like it's like I have tons of time, but I'll have more time to be like, "I should nap for a couple hours and see how I feel." Because just this past weekend at the 34-hour I did, like, I was, like, dying. Like, I was like, "This is awful, and I hate everything." But then I napped for, like, an hour and a half, and I was like, "Okay, I'm ready to go back out." So, I think that in a 200-mile setting, with an ample time amount, I think that I can kinda succeed there pretty well. Because I think if I can give myself time to get my bearings and, like, eat, brush my teeth, sleep a little bit, I can go back out stronger.
Yeah. Absolutely. I agree with that because some of the problems I've been having with a 100-mile distance are all things that I've ran by like my 200 plus mile friends.
Mhm.
I'm just like, this happened, like I just felt crappy. And they're like, yeah, 200 plus miles, like all those problems that we have, we would just take a nap
Exactly, like,
or
it's
like,
so much better after
yeah,
you sleep. I'm like and I don't have time to sleep during 100, so it's like, I think that I think I could be good at 200s. We'll see, but I have this hope.
I have, yeah, I have faith. That was my logic too. I'm like, I suck at 100 milers, so maybe Vol State sounds like a reasonable thing to sign up for.
I th
So,
I get that logic though. I It tracks
yeah.
in my opinion.
I love that. So are you excited? I mean, when's cane break?
It's
I
in
looked at the
March.
sign up.
It's in
It's in
March, and
March.
I'm
Okay.
woefully unprepared, so I don't know, like, I don't March is coming fast. I have not since my DNF at Devil's Gulch this summer, my running has been pretty dismal, but, um, I mean, I'll start kicking my butt into gear here and, um, maybe start listening to my coach and doing the things he wants me to do and hopefully be good for it, but I mean, I'm the worst athlete to have. If my coach is listening to this, I'm sorry, Steve.
Sorry.
But I think he okay, wait, this is a little off topic, but he messaged me on Friday because I was at this 34-hour race, and he's like, "Oh, you're racing this weekend?" That's how bad of an athlete I am.
That's so good. He didn't even know. That's great.
He's like, "Have fun, I guess."
Oh, that's hilarious.
He knows
That
about
is
cane break,
hilarious.
though. It's on the calendar.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I did that to
Uh,
my when I had a run coach. I did that all the time. I'd be like, "I'm gonna do a backyard this weekend." He's like, All right then." I was like,
I think his text literally said, "Did I know you were running a race this weekend?" Probably not.
That
Uh,
is awesome. So, what kind of terrain is Cambridge? I'm curious, but I've looked at the sign up a couple times because I think I really wanted to do a Yeti race too, but March might be a little too soon for me to just like kind of on a whim sign up for a 200 miler. But
I mean, I think it's pretty like runnable for the most part. Like I don't think it's trail, but I don't think it's anything too extreme. Like the elevation gain isn't too crazy. And it's I think for the most part pretty smooth, especially given that it's East Coast Trail, like as probably as smooth as East Coast Trail can get. Um so I think the setting of it will be good for me. I think a looped course will be good for me because I'm also the worst, like, person to crew ever. Like, I actually hate being crewed, um, because I worry about my crew, and I don't need to worry about my crew, I need to worry about me. So,
Yeah.
um, I like a I like a looped course because I like being able to kinda crew myself and have things like, all my stuff set out. So, I think that'll be good.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like I've only had crew for like one backyard, and the whole time I was like, they're probably having a terrible time.
I
They're
know,
just
I
like
come
sit.
in, I'm
Yeah,
like, "Are you guys eating? Are you guys okay?" Like,
yeah,
they're like, "Why are you asking us this? Did everyone sleep? Did you guys sleep?" Like, that's me when I'm being crewed, so I make great crew, I do not like to be crewed.
yeah, absolutely. Like yeah, the whole time I'm out, I'm like, oh, they're probably just like super bored and like yeah. I'll just spare everybody that unless somebody really wanted to crew me, but that's about it. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, it's exciting. March, I'll be pulling for you. You got this. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I cranked out 80 some miles this weekend after not running more than 2 hours since July, so I think there's potential.
yeah. S- okay, so something I'm curious about that I like to get to know more about, like the people I talk to, is something. Tell me something about you that's not even running related. Just what does Heidi do when you're not training or coaching or podcasting that's not running related?
Um, well, I
I know
love to
I know
bake.
you bake a lot.
I
Some
love
looks like
to
you bake a
bake.
lot.
Yeah. I love to bake and I love to read, and I love to bake while listening to audiobooks so I can combine baking and reading. So but I guess that would
Cool.
be, like, the big thing. But yeah, that's I mean, as a mom too, it's hard to find time outside of those facets. Um, but yeah, that's what I love to do.
Cool. Do you ever do sourdough at all?
Yeah, I do sourdough. I have
Okay.
a
Uh,
starter. His name is
cool.
Frodo.
Frodo.
Like
I haven't named
Frodo. Get it?
Frodo. Oh, damn. I just now
Yeah.
got that. That's good.
Bringing the
Yes.
literary and the baking together there, that's kinda my my
I
thing.
love that. We just we just got in the sourdough in this house. Like I have a dried starter, like a dehydrated starter I haven't used, but my daughter started her own and we've already like dabbled in making a few loaves. And her starter's name is Theodonis from the
Okay.
play Hamilton. So
Yeah, okay.
yeah, yeah. So very
Cool.
random. That's so cool. Yeah. Um, so yeah. So what do you think? So you go to cane break. However that goes. What do you think would be like next? Like, what would you do? Do you see like anything out like even farther? Would that be something like Cocodona or something like? Would that be something you'd be into like in the future?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, I definitely have a desire to do something like Cocodona at some point in time. But honestly, like I think after cane break, I want to spend a lot of time like crewing and pacing and volunteering for a while.
Yeah.
Um, I just like every time I'm like racing now, I'm like looking at like people crewing or pacing. And I'm like, oh, that's so much better than doing this.
Yeah, you still get to be there, I guess.
Yeah, but I just have so much fun, like, crewing, I love it, I love it so much, it's just so, like, rewarding to me and, like, pacing, it's like you get a piece of the course, you get to be there for somebody, um, but you don't have to completely kill yourself over it, but you still are sleep deprived because you're going to aid stations in the middle of the night, and, like, it's just but you're hanging out with others, and it's a fun experience, and, I crewed both my brothers at Eastern States in August, and it just, like, set that in my mind, even, like, solidified it that I just love, like, that experience, so, cane break's, like, the last really big thing I have on I mean, I have, I guess, 100K and a 50K probably after that, But as far as like a big effort, cane brake might be it for a little while at least, unless something else kind of sparks my interest before then. But I'd really love to spend the rest of 2026 like just leaning into like being at races and like being present for other people.
Yeah. That was something I got to do a lot more this year. I haven't signed up for hardly anything this year, but I have worked a few finish lines and things like that, and that's actually been it's like it still scratches, but I get to
Mhm.
like I get to like walk downstairs like the next
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, you don't have blisters and lost toenails, you just, like, actually get to, like it's such a, like, rewarding experience too, like, I love other people's finish lines more than my own, and so to be there for that means a lot to me, and to, like I think, like, pacing too, I feel like it's just such an honor to pace somebody, like, it's such a deep trust that somebody's, like, allowing you into that space, like, where they're gonna be really vulnerable, and, like, trust you to help them make decisions and things like that, so I just it's not something I take lightly, and I, like, feel so honored that, you know, anybody would ever ask me to pace them.
Yeah, that's something I would definitely like to try this year. It maybe pay somebody or crew somebody some more. It would be fun. Um, yeah, because did you pace Justin at Kettle this
Kettle,
year?
yeah.
Yeah,
S
cool. Yeah,
yeah, that was a lot of fun.
yeah. Derek
Yep.
was there, so I was like, "How cool is this? Everybody's kind of in
Yeah.
the same."
Yep.
That's really neat.
Yep, he was making sure I got ice when I crossed the finish line because I was so dang thirsty, so Derek was there handing me ice.
That's
He
so
was great
cool.
though because Justin was, like, really suffering when he came in, so the finish line is like the 100K mark, you go back out, and Justin came in suffering pretty bad, and so I was like, "You got plenty of time, like, you're regrouping, I came out here to run this with you, so you're going back out there whether you want to or not," and I told him, I said, "I drove from Georgia with 3 kids in my van, so we're doing this." And, but Derek was there and, like, made sure we had, like, all the things to get Justin back on his feet and everything. He was really helpful, so,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Like making a road trip with kids, you better make this count, right?
I was like, "Dude." And I told him because it was cool what's cool about Kettle is they have a 38-mile fun run, and it's like you can do, it anytime after the start time, and so you can use it as pacing for somebody who's doing the 100-miler. And so that's what I did. I was signed up for my own race technically. I was doing the 38-mile distance, but I was just gonna start whenever Justin got there and then go out on my race and pace him. Um, and so he was when he was suffering and thinking he might DNF, he's like, "Well, you can just go out and run your race." I'm like, "I'm not going out there, and I paid money to be here, so we're going out together."
That's
But
cool.
he
You
was
got it
just
done.
such a true testament to, like, how much you can rally and, like, things can change because he was really in a hard place and pulled it together and showed a lot of strength to get back out there.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It was cool to watch also, and like Derek was kind of like filling me in on what was going on. So I was like, this is so cool. But it's cool that you guys are all in the same place too. Because I mean, Georgia to from Chicagoland to Justin's from Alaska, right?
Alaska, yeah,
Yeah. So that's
so
kind of
weird.
cool how like people from everywhere can kind of converge in the Kettle Moraine Forest. Which is pretty wild. But
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
well, something I wanted to ask you, I think I prefaced this earlier, is I was curious if you had to like leave us with any closing advice, what would that be?
I guess, like, my biggest advice is just to I think it's kind of what I implied, like, before, like, some of the best decisions I've made have just been, like, a complete spur of the moment, like, "Why not? You've never considered this before, so but why not?" Like, this idea is in your head for a reason, like, whether it's signing up for a race or starting a podcast or whatever it may be, like if the idea pops in your head, it came from somewhere. And even if it seems like the most far-fetched thing or the thing that you would like never ever do and so out of character for you, like to just lean into it, because I think sometimes the best things in life come out of that. So whether that's like getting on ultra sign up because you're intrigued by a 200-mile distance or whatever it is, um just like embrace that and lean into it and just do it scared.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. What do you think what do you think like some of the lessons you've learned from that, like carrying that mindset and like doing those things and like taking those big risks and signing up for really scary things?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest lesson would be it's okay to fail. Um, and that's like the one that I really like have taken and driven home. I mean, I started a podcast about it. It's like um it's really not all that scary. Like it can be disappointing and it can be a roller coaster and it can be full of emotion and grieving, but um in the end you don't lose because you gain something from it no matter what. So it's it's okay to fail, and it's okay to grieve it, and it's okay to then try again and fail again if necessary. Like, it took me 2 tries to get the 50-mile dis or 3 tries to get the 50-mile distance. It took me 3 tries to get the 100-mile distance, and so, um, it's it's okay, and no matter how bad you think it is or how much you think people might, like, judge you, nobody does. Nobody really
Yeah.
cares that much. Like, everybody just, like, loves you and supports you no matter what. I remember posting about my 100-mile DNF at No Business, and, like, I was devastated at that one. Like, each DNF has just been such a different experience for me, but that one was devastating for me, and I remember posting it and, like, thinking, this is dumb. I have a po I the first thing I said to Michelle when I called her is, "I don't wanna do a podcast episode about this race." I know we have a DNF podcast, but I did not wanna do a podcast episode about this race. And it's like, um, he so it's I don't even know where I was going with that, but it's okay. Nobody that's where I was going. Like, nobody cares. Like, the amount of, like, unwavering, like, support and kindness I got from people, or just, like, the amount of people that have messaged me, like, that's why I've really leaned into this whole, like, try scary things even if you fail, because the amount of messages I get from people that are like, "I was scared to do this, and so I just decided to sign up and try because I saw you doing that," or, "You inspired me to, like, go for this distance even though I never thought I could," or, all those things. Like, the amount of people that message me that, it's like, "Okay, this is a message that people need to hear," and so I'm gonna keep saying it.
Yeah, absolutely. And God, and I love that. I remember the first time I remember the first time I DNF'd and I like had this like big story to write out, like, I let so many people down and I just like I remember I
Mhm.
called my wife the next morning and was like, well, I DNF'd it, and she's like, well, I mean that stinks, but you know, just try again. I was just like, oh, it
There's
didn't
always
like let
another
the whole
race.
world. Yeah, it didn't let the whole world down. I DNF this race in the middle of the
Right. The
Albion
whole
Borders. Like no
world
one went.
wasn't dependent on me crossing that finish line. It's so hard to believe.
Right? Yeah. So yeah, and that's something I've learned through my own DNFs and like your podcast too. Like I've learned a lot of stuff from Let's Run That Again. It's just like, yeah, failure happens, and I think the only failure is if you don't like learn something from it. That's the
Yeah,
only true failure if you don't. Yeah. So
exactly.
um, showing, yeah. So I guess that's been kind of what I've extrapolated from like my own failure, hearing other people talk about their failures, or you and Michelle's podcast. It's like it's it's really not that big of a deal, but signing up for the scary thing and like showing up to the scary thing, that's really the true victory, is like showing up. Like, wow, you showed up here. That's amazing. Like,
Exactly.
if you complete the distance, then that's kind of a cherry on top.
And, like, This past weekend, my friend who was running, she went in with the intention of trying to do 100 at the 34-hour race, but this was, like, her first time at this kinda distance, and it was a tricky race because it was a night start on Friday, so you had to go through 2 nights to get through that 34 hours. Um, and so by the second night, like, later in the second night, it was starting to dawn on her that she probably wasn't gonna hit the 100-mile distance, and we decided to go nap and, like, pull ourselves together and then come back. And when I woke up from my nap, she was, saying, like, "I don't know if I'm gonna go back out again, like, my feet are really hurting." And I said, "Well, I think I'm gonna go back out on another loop at least because I feel pretty good right now." So I went out on a loop, and as I was out on that loop, I got a text from her saying, "Hey, let me know when you get back, I wanna go out again." And so when I came back, we went out together and I said, "I think what you did here is way bigger than a 100-mile finish because you weren't satisfied with time still on the clock and starting to feel okay. And so you went back out and did it again, even though you could have just stopped. Like you could have just been done. It's a timed race. So whatever distance you get is what you get. And so it would have been easy to just say, I'm done. But I think it's more powerful than even a 100-mile finish to stop and then say, you know what? No, I'm going to go back out because I still have time and I'm not going to be satisfied with myself if I stop now when I still have more to give.
Yeah, that's huge. That's awesome. I mean, it's kind of like, yeah, I mean, that is a huge victory, regardless of how far your friend went. I mean, that's pretty awesome. That is truly powerful.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, yeah, just keeping in mind things like that, like the little victories, like you may not get exactly what you wanted, but there was some kind of victory or some kind of, um, lesson in there.
Yeah, and then she'll be able to use that for anything else. She'll be able to remember that moment and be able to like kind of tap into that.
Exactly.
So that's cool. That's cool to get to experience that. I need to dig into like this. There's not a lot of 36 hours.
They were
There's not a
the
lot of those.
couple that I've done have been 34 hours.
Okay. I need to find something like that that's close because that sounds like it's like kind of like that perfect between 24 and 48.
Mhm.
So I think that'd be kind of be a sweet spot for me where I think I could get it done and like be able to like deal with problems or maybe even sleep a little
Yep,
bit. And then,
exactly.
so I might have to find something like that soon. So I can't have you on the podcast without asking at least a music question.
Oh boy.
It's impossible. So, what's in your earbuds currently when you are running? I'll
Mm.
put on the playlist too.
Oh, I mean, it's like the life of a showgirl, Taylor Swift. It's easily that's one of the top. Yeah.
I'll just put the whole album on there.
Do it. It's worth it. It's great. It's fantastic. It's my favorite Taylor Swift album. That's what I was singing this weekend out in the woods to the armadillos and deer that were out there, so
I love that. You know, it's funny that I never listened to Taylor Swift before in my life. Not no shade on Taylor Swift. It just wasn't in my queue. But
Right.
ever since the playlist, there'll be like Taylor Swift and like Dua Lipa or like Bad Bunny, and just like, and I forgot what Taylor Swift song I heard the other day on my run to work. I think it was Whiskey. Like, does she have a song named Whiskey or something?
I don't know, maybe.
But yeah,
I'm a newer Swiftie, like,
okay.
I'm pretty new to the whole Swiftie world because for a while I, like, was convinced that I hated her, but I have realized that's not true, and have listened to her more this year, but, I mean, the she's a great lyricist, like, there's a lot of, like, poetry in her lyrics, I think, which is what I love.
Yeah, like I can't remember the song. Somebody will probably correct me on this. I'm sorry, but I was just like, okay, like I don't dislike this. It's very
Yeah,
catchy.
there you go.
Like it made me feel sassy when I was running. I was like, all right, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
get
So
that sass on.
I
Yeah.
was like go Tay Tay. I guess I dig this right now. But so
Her
yeah, I'll just
new
add the whole
album's
album.
pretty sassy too, so, yeah,
That's what I
it's a
hear.
good one.
I guess I'll have to throw some on the playlist so it comes on at random while I'm running. Um,
You're welcome, everyone listening
yeah.
to the playlist.
Yeah. There's a lot of really crazy stuff on there, so it'll blend right in with this beautiful collection of all of us that have thrown some really wild things on there. But well, Heidi, thanks for coming on. It's obviously been a joy getting to know you. I love being on your show. I love what you guys are doing with the show. Michelle just have like this amazing chemistry. I love tuning in. It's been fun getting to know you on Instagram, and hopefully we can run some trails together. Maybe I'll have to find something in Georgia sometime. If I find a Yeti event, maybe it's something time down there, and then we'll have to share some trail miles someday. But
Yeah, absolutely. Or I can
yeah,
find something. I can always make my way to the Midwest too.
yeah, there's a lot of cool. Like the Midwest is, it doesn't get its due. Like we have some really wild trails here, and they're really
Yeah.
cool and just rooty. I mean, maybe not at the vert you would get as like a mountain race, but we've got some pretty technical stuff. But we got some real gems here.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, so thank you for coming on the show. It was an honor.
absolutely. It was fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you everyone who tuned in. Give Heidi a follow at Strong Mama Miles on Instagram. She is just a delightful person to follow and interact with. Check out their podcast, her and Michelle's podcast. Let's run that again. It's amazing. They cover a lot of DNFs, but they cover more than that. And it's been enlightening to hear, and I've learned a ton of lessons regarding my own DNFs and struggles with the 100-mile distance and just DNFs in general. So do yourself a favor and follow that. Thank you for tuning in. Like I always like to remind you, please like, share, rate, review the podcast. Get the comments flowing on Spotify comments. And I will see you all next time beyond the finish line.